It's your good friend, or maybe if you consider me an acquaintance, you can consider me an acquaintance. You are a free being. You have autonomy. It's Paul. How are you? I wanted to talk to you about, well, let me just get this out of the way right now. Things about to get real up in his bizatch, okay? Things about to get real up in this bitch. They about to get as real as the real world Las Vegas, okay? Well, no, they're not. No, but I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be frank. My name is Paul, not Frank. But no, I'm going to be honest with you folks. One of the biggest, probably the biggest struggle in my life has been my battle with very severe depression. Recently, I have come out of a year and a half of a lot of instability dealing with this condition. And, for the first time in a while, it feels like, I've got my feet on solid ground, so to speak. But this has been something that I've been dealing with for a long time. And something that, I've really been thinking about lately is what is the worst possible environment for a person to deal with depression. And really the only one that I can speak on, and in my experience, the worst place that I ever dealt with, crippling depression was the modern American evangelical megachurch. These days I have a lot of problems with the modern evangelical, megachurch thing going on. Your Mars Hill churches in Seattle. I in the interest of, I'm in Washington. I'm in Western Washington. I'm not going to mention the name of the church that I was involved in. But, what I'm thinking about, what I found myself coming back to over and over again is, everybody's favorite YouTube apologist, Sean VenomFangX, Mini Hovand, Mini Dr. William Lane Craig, or whatever we people call him these days. And I hate to beat the dead horse that is VenomFangX, but a long time ago he did a video with a bunch of people at his Bible college up there in Kanakistan. And I love Canada, by the way. You guys are awesome. But he did a video with a bunch of his classmates from Bible college up there in Canada. And essentially what they were doing was like a counseling session with a young man who said that he had struggled very seriously for like the last 8 years with severe depression and anxiety, and it was impeding his academic progress. Definitely was making his life, a living fucking hell. And they pulled out the usual platitudes, and not even 8 minutes into the video, they're pulling out the example of Job. And what I really call that, looking back on my time, in the mega church, trademark, Church of Jesus Christ on the Earth, trademark, whatever. I used to call that playing the Job card. If a person comes to you and they're suffering, you basically tell them, well, that sucks. Look at Job, though. Your life can't possibly be that bad. You know, and the other thing, and this is the thing that really bothered me and really fucking horrified me, and basically made me want to choke every one of those bitches out and, you know, take that guy out and, you know, take him somewhere where, you know, somewhere where people can actually maybe help him, was this idea that he should persevere through the depression, even though he may suffer, but God will use that suffering for His glory. And, you know, that was probably something that was said to me more than once when I was involved in the church. But I think about that now, and I think that's using suffering to glorify Himself. And He created the earth and hung the stars in the sky. Knows the number of hairs on your head, knows the day that you're going to die. He's all powerful. But He's going to use your suffering to glorify Himself as if He doesn't have enough glory. Seems rather prickish of a supreme being to me. That's just me. That's just me. But I want to relate to you a story. And, you know, the names have been changed, you know, except for mine. And I'm not going to mention the name of the church that I was involved with. Because frankly, you know, I'm not sure how legal, how litigious they are. They're not Scientology for sure, but, you know. Anyhow, I was about 23 years old. And I was going to college. And, you know, I was definitely struggling. And, you know, one of the things that definitely made my college career difficult was, you know, my depression. I had to pull out of classes sometimes. And, you know, it definitely impeded my academic progress. And, you know, it came to the point, you know, one winter, maybe it was about 2004, you know, 2005 or so. I think that may have been the year. You know, I'm not sure now, but God, I think it was about around 23. I'm terrible at math and chronology and all that shit. But I had told a friend of mine who I attended church with that things were just really bad. That I was having trouble getting out of bed, that I was having trouble, you know, motivating myself to go to class. I just felt just awful inside. I just didn't feel right out in the world. You know, I had no ambition any longer. I was taking sleeping pills during waking hours, just so that I could pass the fuck out and not deal with it. And what this friend did is he'd contacted his cadre leader, like small group leader. These mega churches have small groups. You know, they get together in homes. You know, they do social stuff like bowling and PlayStation 2 at the time, probably. You know, Bible study, of course, prayer and all that stuff. So I was going into my shift because I worked part-time at an Applebee's restaurant. I know I'm not proud of it either. Okay, but you know, so I was going into work and I was just kind of, you know, hanging in the parking lot before I'd actually go in to work my shift. And I got a call on my cell phone from a number I didn't recognize, and I picked up, and it was this friend's cadre leader. And he talked to me and said that, you know, my friend talked to him and told him what was going on with me, and that he was concerned. And what he said to me, he told me that he had insight into my issues, and that he thought my issues that I was dealing with had to do with excessive masturbation and viewing of pornography. Looking back, I think there may have been some projection going on there, maybe. And, we prayed on the phone together. But even at the time, I thought to myself, I'm 23 years old. I've had a short life. I honestly think this is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard in my fucking life. And that was the beginning of my exit from mega church world. My opinion, and it's just my experience, I'd imagine, dealing with depression and, being in the U.S. military would be difficult as well. But the mega church is difficult too. So I think it's more difficult the more involved you are in church activities. Because let me put it to you this way. Some of you watching haven't been involved seriously in church. But basically imagine that, you feel dull and empty inside. Think about the worst disappointment that you've had in your life. Only you can't shake it, and you feel that way 24/7 for, a couple months at a time. That's what it's like. And all around you are people like VenomFangX, people like Brock Lolly, the atheist antidote. And that's who you have around you. Is you have a bunch of people around you who are dedicated to holding hard and fast to, the interpretation of the Bible that is in vogue, with the church. And they're so obsessed with the idea of the sovereignty of God that it dulls their compassion. And you can't go to these people to really talk to them about it, because I honestly think they're afraid of their humanity. That's the thing is, looking back, I'm horrified at how useless the modern American church is. It's absolutely fucking useless. And the reason it's useless is it comes down to fear of humanity. People drown their doubts, their fears, in a bunch of biblical verses that are taken out of context and that come from a world that is different than the one they live in. You're swimming in a sea of people that don't know how to deal with despair. They don't know how to deal with desire. They don't know how to deal with the seeming absurdity of life. So, yeah, that is my story, folks. And I am sticking to it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Peace to you.